Okay, this is video number 4 in Practical Dog Training. I have 2 dogs here staying with me this week. They were both born here, but I haven't seen them in a while. And this one is Pepper, and over here's Gracie. You come over, Gracie? Want to come over, Gracie? You want to come over, Gracie? Well, she might come by. Here she goes. Comes Nikita. Come here, Grace. Come here. She's a softer temperamented dog, meaning she'd just as soon not deal with me today. She doesn't know me very well. Pepper's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going? What are we doing? Where are we going? What are we doing? So I wanted to talk with you today about how, people will contact me and say, oh, well, how often should I train my dog? How many minutes a day should I train my dog? How many times a day should I train my dog? Every single time you interact with your dog, you're training it something. And these dogs are here, and we're going to work on their leash reactivity, and they go after other dogs when they're walking them, they're barking, just the typical stuff that dogs do. And these are great dogs, and they belong to a great family who loves them dearly. What I need to get across is, if your dog, and you have to understand rude dog behavior versus, I don't even know how to put it. I'll just put it this way. If your dog is acting bad, and I don't mean chewing things up and tearing things down and all this. If your dog is rude to you, bouncing off of you like a backboard, this one, twice since she's been here, she's jumped up and licked me in the face and whacked me in the face. And, she's just being loving. But the problem of it is she doesn't know, she does now, as you can see by her sitting at my feet, that that's rude behavior. So I corrected her for it, and I've trained on these dogs before, so it's starting to come back to her who she's dealing with, and she's dealing with me. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to show her affection, but she is not allowed. It's sort of my rule with horses. I'm allowed to touch you, but you're not allowed to touch me. So it kind of goes the same with these dogs. They're only allowed to touch me if I invite them to. If I patted my leg for them to get up on me, I could rub them. If I was sitting in a chair and I patted my lap for them to get in it. They can't just come barreling in, jump up, kiss me in the face, bounce off of me like a backboard. That's just rude. But they don't know it's rude until you teach them it's rude. These are just sweet dogs. So you can't expect a dog to go out and be perfect on the leash when they're acting nutso in the house, when they're disrespecting you in the house, when they're disrespecting you all day, every day, and then you go, okay, time to go for a walk. I'm going to put you on the leash, and you're going to be perfect. And then you go out the door, and you find out, well, they're not perfect at all. Now, what I noticed right away with these two is they didn't aggress on my dogs at all. Now, they do know my dogs, but it's been a long time, maybe a year since they've been here. They didn't really act reactive towards the horses. They didn't act reactive towards the dogs on the other side of the fence or any of that here. Now, maybe it's just because they've been here before. I'm not sure. But part of it is, it's just like when they dropped the dogs off yesterday and these dogs were screaming. I put them in a little play yard, and they were screaming. I think it was this one, mostly Pepper, screaming and carrying on and putting on all this drama. But as soon as we walked out of their sight, it quit. It stopped immediately. Okay, so don't tell me that emotion went away that fast. What the dog was trying to do was manipulate the owner into coming back. And so dogs can and will manipulate you. So I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but see, it all fits together like a puzzle. These dogs, from the minute I get a hold of them, they are going to behave. That's just how I am. I'm a very black and white dog owner trainer. And dogs settle down when they're with me because they learn really quick who is leading. And it's not the dog. and the dog is able to calm down and relax because somebody has control of it that isn't going to take any of their BS, for one thing, and also is going to send very clear communication of what we're doing at any given moment. So you just have to ask yourself, do I really want a trained dog? Or do I just want a part-time trained dog? Because if you only want a part-time trained dog, that's never going to work. The good behavior starts in the house. It starts in the yard. You can't expect a dog that is running to the door, barking at people, jumping on people, greeting people with overexuberance. All this emotion. Look at how good these two dogs are being right now. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I wish I would have videoed when I went to get them out of their kennel this morning because they were melting, screaming, just like they do to the owner. I just tapped it and said, hey. And they sat. So they sat. So maybe they do that at home. Maybe they make them calm down. But the idea is start calm to begin with. Don't let your dog ever get into that. It's almost like a red zone of joy. You know, they have red zone of aggression. These things get into a red zone of joy. But being emotionally out of control, whether it's joyously or aggressively, is really the same thing. They're emotionally out of control. So this is just some food for thought today. Do you want a trained dog or not? Because you can't have it both ways. You cannot. They're either trained or they're not. They're either behaving or they're not. They're either submissive or they're not. They're either calm and quiet or they're not. They're either paying attention to you or they're not. So if you do want a trained dog out on the street around other dogs, it has to behave at home first. It has to behave. It has to listen. It has to act calm and submissive and quiet. So they will be here with us for a few days. We're getting ready to go out for about a mile walk, and it's going to be a nice calm walk. I'm going to have all 8 of my dogs and these 2 dogs, and they are going to behave because I started it here. I corrected them when they got, hey, she wants to squeal, so I just gave her a little correction. You have to disagree with behavior you don't want, period. You have to disagree with it. But anyway, we started when they came out of the kennel, they had to come out calm and submissive. When we came out the door, they had to be calm and submissive. In here, I've walked them around a little bit. They have to be calm and submissive. Now we're ready to go for a walk. Hey, comments drive my content, so please drop me a comment, drop me a question, like, share if you're liking my content. The comments I'm getting is that I'm doing things completely different than other people on YouTube, so help me get my message out there. Share my videos if you will. This is Practical Dog Training for the Pet Dog Owner. Thanks for watching.